It is now time for the Brian Schottenheimer Show, brought to you by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. As we have everyone together here. Yeah. Everyone together. It wasn't RJ Choppy on the Tennessee road trip, so Coach will have nothing to bust our balls about as we say good morning and happy birthday, Brian Schottenheimer.
Happy birthday.
Wow, I'm shocked that you guys, number one, knew it was my birthday, but more importantly, that there's all three of you guys actually working today.
Right. We wanted to talk to you before you fired your head coach, Billy Napier. But whatever.
Yeah. Well, geez. Okay, it's going to be that kind of morning. Let me buckle up and get ready to go, boys.
Hey, don't use buckle up now.
Always. Hey, I'm ready for you guys, man. I'm ready. It's been a good week. I'm ready for you guys. Let's do it.
Was CeeDee Lamb returning the birthday present?
Well, I tell you what, it was. And, CeeDee Lamb and Turp and Tyler Booker having a great couple days of practice. But, there's an old adage that your wife is always right. So I'm leaving the office last night about 9:45, almost 10 o'clock. And she goes, hey, we're over here at D. Lincoln. My son's in town and my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law. And she's like, just come by and just say hello. I'm like, nah, babe, I'm tired. I'm going to bed, whatever. She goes, just stop by. Come on, just say hello. And so I drive over there. The last place in the world I want to go is go sit, and just in a restaurant. And she's like, look, there's no one here. You're fine. So long story short, I walk in. I'm just kind of ill. I'm just kind of in a bad mood, And I sit down, and about 10 seconds later, the door swings open, and my daughter, my 20-year-old daughter, surprised me. She came to see me from college for my birthday. And, of course, you know me, I'm a crier. So what did I do like all grown men do? I cried. And I realized my wife was right and I was wrong. And thank goodness I went because it was a great surprise. So that trumps CD and the boys coming back. But it's pretty damn close. It's pretty close.
That's awesome.
See, that's why Kristen loves the interview so much, is because he says the wife is right all the time. All right,
Yeah.
Coach.
Sorry, guys.
Except Brian listens and you don't.
See, that's the biggest thing. Coach, it's a good problem to have, but how do you approach getting your top target back, CeeDee Lamb, and making sure that he's getting worked in while also making sure you're not breaking the rhythm that George Pickens is in?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, guys, look, it's a deal where, we go in with a good game plan. We try to each week. And, again, you never know how the game's going to go. But like, I said yesterday in my press conference or whoever I was talking to, and I was saying, like, the biggest thing for us is not even that. It's just we got to get the running game going, man. Like, we just, we didn't run it very well, and Carolina, really, beat us up a little bit. And that's the biggest thing. So the ball's going to find those guys. They're both great players. George has been on an incredible run. But, again, you never complain as a coach, certainly a play caller, when you get weapons back. You're not like, golly, I can't believe I'm going out there with CeeDee and George Pickens this weekend. Like, you don't really do that because people don't really feel bad for you, so you look kind of like an idiot.
Brian Schottenheimer here on 105.3 The Fan. Coach Jerry on Tuesday said, well, it may make more sense to play a man. And then yesterday we got a photo from practice lining up to start off with some man press technique. Is that an indicator of things that come Sunday or just usual drills?
Well, first of all, the fact you guys have aerial photos scares the hell out of me. I got to be honest. I don't approve any aerial photos, although I'm sure the fans and people that work at the Dr. Pepper Carrick building probably have a lot of aerial photos of what we're doing. So, we're certainly we're looking at all kinds of things. And, yes, you will see us play man-to-man. I said this the other day. We actually do play man. Now, how much man we play and things like that is what people certainly can talk about and question and things like that. But, look, we look at a lot of different things. And it's not just, okay, what's great for us, which certainly we're hurting in some areas, need to be better. But we also look at the opponent and say, okay, what are they struggling with, or what are they good with, or what do we need to take away? And so, yes, again, there will be some man-to-man. But like I said, it's not going to be nothing but man-to-man.
Coach, we always talk about, someone bringing in their scheme and the players have to fit into it versus fitting the scheme around the players. When you guys, and we know that the zone numbers are high, but was Eberflus's system something that was just going to be run when he came in here no matter what? Or did you decide on the way you were doing things to start off the year based upon the players?
No, I think the system has always got to be flexible, guys. I really believe that. I've always believed that. I think for us to just be like, okay, this is what I run. I am Brian Schottenheimer, and I am the greatest offensive mind in the world, and we're going to run these 5 plays, and you guys are going to – no, you don't do that. Like, you've got a philosophy. You've got an identity, and then you have to adjust based on what your players do well. It's been very clear to us that we've been struggling some in zone. That's not a secret. And why is that? Well, there's lots of reasons. Our eyes haven't been great. There's things we got to clean up, but the flexibility and the ability to adjust is what coaches should be judged on, and that's what we're going to be judged on, and that's why we're working so hard right now. On the defensive side of the ball of making some of the adjustments. And it doesn't mean that man-to-man's the only answer. It means, hey, guys, we have to play zone. And when we play zone, let's play it better, and here's how you do it. And so, but absolutely not. It's never a thing. You better, as a football coach, have the ability to adjust to your talent and your players. And that's what we're in the process of doing.
Coach, we had Nate Newton in studio this week, and he was like, if you change up things, to say your defensive scheme and go to man, you're going to have to communicate there as well. And you also run the risk of maybe, resetting the learning curve back to 0. Is that something that you have to factor in? And do you buy into that if you were to change things up, you would have to reset that learning curve?
No, because here's the point I'm trying to get across, and you guys obviously understand, but maybe to the fans out there, we have man-to-man coverage calls in our defense. We didn't go in there and go, okay, hey, guys, this is called cover 1, and everybody's going to go. We didn't do that on Wednesday morning. And the guy's like, oh, my God, that's so cool. We just chase guys around the field all day. These are all calls that we've had. It's some of the ways that we're using them, some of the ways we're tweaking them. Let's be honest. Washington's got a lot of weapons, and so there's certain ways if you do want to play man-to-man, where do you send your help and how do you do it? And again, you can't just play man-to-man. And then there's things where we're going to line up like we're playing man-to-man and we're actually going to play zone. And, we call it maze. It's for, you show man, it's play man, but it's zone alignments. And so that's really difficult for offenses. But my point is, for us, it's the way we're using the calls more than the calls themselves. The calls they've been in our playbook going back to the offseason program.
Coach, for guys who have been here longer than just this year even, and you talk about cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, those aren't new concepts necessarily, but what's so different about the new defense, do you think, that you guys are implementing that might explain some of the communication problems or some of the other issues? Is it a language thing, new technique, new keys? What's different?
Well, I would say there's a number of things. And again, you guys know me. I'm not going to sit here and make a bunch of excuses, but you asked the question and I'll answer it to the best of my ability without making it sound like excuses. When you play zone and you're a spot drop type zone deal, you got to do a great job of keeping depth and width when you drop. And there's things that come across your eyes as an underneath coverage player that sometimes grab your attention. And it's literally like if I'm at the park with my dog and, I'm trying to throw the ball and a squirrel flashes across my dog's face, good luck. But, Marley's gone. She's freaking gone.
Oh, no.
Or chasing snakes, one of the two.
Wow.
She's chasing snakes with that. And so I think, we haven't done a great job sometimes keeping our width and depth and having great eye discipline. That's one thing. Another thing is, our communication, it's a little bit harder when guys aren't all practicing together, right? You had a guy like K9 who has to learn to do the green dot, things like that. Malik Hooker's, been in and now he's out for a while. You get different guys. And so there's different things that come up to it. But at the end of the day, communication inconsistency has been probably our biggest issue, and we have to get it corrected. And, it's one of those things that as a coach, as a player, it's frustrating, but the solutions are in this building, and the solutions are, guys, you don't just say close left. You go, close left, close left, close left. You say it 3 and 4 times to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Coach, have you found as an offensive play caller that the defense's struggles have impacted your decisions to be more or less aggressive on 4th down? Do you factor that in?
Yeah, but each game's different. Each 4th down's different. It's how much time's left. Where are we at? Do I like this call? Do I like that call? How do I feel about it? multiple things come into play when you're making those decisions. It's not just, okay, how's the defense playing or how's the offense playing? It's so many situations that come up. And again, you guys know this, but I always, before I jump on this call, I just left Ryan Peters' office, and we were talking about a couple of different things. And it's like, it was last week actually in the Commanders and Bears game. Like they tied it up and 16-all, and it was like, do you go for two? Because there was a penalty that moved it up to the one. Do you go for two? Well, I kind of like having a lead, So, I mean, kicking the extra point and going up 17-16, to me, instead of going for two maybe and going up 18-16 from the one, is all things you got to consider. So a lot of different factors come into play.
Brian Schottenheimer right here on 105 through the Fan. Couple of personnel questions, Coach. Donovan Wilson, everyone loves the physicality, maybe the best tackler, hardest hitter on the team. What fans are asking every single week is, why is Donovan being put in these coverage situations so much where he seems to be struggling so much? So that's on the back end. The other is James Houston with his pass rushing efficiency as a fan favorite. Is he not getting even more playing time because of his run D? So Dono in coverage and Houston up front are the two personnel questions.
Okay, well, first of all, let's talk about it the right way. That's James Houston, man. Okay, that's how you got to refer to him. Okay, you don't just ask the question like that. You got to say that's James Houston, man.
Got it.
Okay? But absolutely, look, James, we're deep on the defensive line. James has a very unique specialty, which is rushing the passer. He's getting better playing the run. That's not his strongest suit, but he is getting better because he does play with length and things like that. So, again, all those things are factored into, last week, again, I mean, we just were struggling with, stopping the run, and they were exposing some things, and we were trying to solve, a couple of those problems. But, again, we are better with James on the field, and you'll see James play a little bit more. But, yes, that is part of the issue. And then with Donovan, look, when you're a safety, you have to play in multiple spots. Right, you can't just be a box safety, because if you're only a box safety, right, then guess what? You're in one or two coverages, and it's like, okay, well, how does that work? I mean, I think you look at the touchdown that they hit on Tet McMillan, hit on us. It was a little double move on Dono. There's a couple things there. Like, we were in cover two. It was a good call. We didn't get a great reroute on the edge, and then Donovan, kind of felt like, because we didn't push up underneath the low piece, the inside slot guy ran a low route to be a piece of cheese, and then McMillan came back in behind it, and so Donovan felt a little bit stressed, and then he stumbled. And but again, that goes back to Donovan. Donovan can play in the middle of the field. Donovan can play deep half, but of course, just like James, players have, and coaches, I have things I'm better at. I'm maybe a better third down guy than a red zone guy, or a better pass guy than a run guy. And our job as coaches is to feature those guys that way, and that is a never-ending process. But I do understand the question, and that's the answer.
Coach, when you have a familiarity with a guy on the other sideline like Dan Quinn, people talk about the familiarity. It's almost like it's a shortcut for preparation. And that's kind of how the discussion goes. But do you actually have to guard against overthinking when you feel so much about the coach across from you?
That's a good point, because they change. And, again, I sat in meetings with DQ and Joe Witt and watched them install third down and 2 minute, and I can watch their film and, be like, okay, well, we called that Lone Star, we called that Waco, or we called that whatever. And, but I also know that they know that, and we understand that. And this team is very different. They're a big man-to-man team. I think they're going to play us man-to-man. I think they've got good quality coverage pieces, but at the same time, we've got a lot of elite weapons and speed and things like that. And, Joe and DQ are extremely bright. And so I think, you factor all those things in, but this is the 2025 Commanders versus the 2025 Cowboys. And the fact that we're close and friends is just part of the process that makes it fun to talk about on game day. But when you get going, man, it's really, hey, let's just go execute. Let's put the plan, trust the plan in, and give ourselves the best chance to win.
Coach, we know the sun plays a major role there this time of year. So, do you play to it? Do you go away from it? Do you run plays towards it? Are they called sensational plays? Can you call that in the playbook?
Maybe I should have a list. I like that. I'm actually going to start that. Let me get my guy Boyles on it. I'm going to start my sensational list. I used the word majestic the other day. You guys obviously don't like the majestic term because you went sensational. But this is true. I'm not just saying this to be funny. I literally have satellite photos on my desk as we speak that as soon as you guys let me off this phone call, I'm going to go look at those. And we have a process and a plan that we like and that we use, but it does affect the game, and it affects both sides, which is a good thing. But I got to make my sensational list because I don't have it done yet.
But, Coach, is this a really overblown media topic? Do you get sun issues in other stadiums, or is it definitely more of a thing in Arlington?
No, there's sun issues everywhere, and again, I think it's one of the situations where when you've got God knows how many games been played in AT&T Stadium, and it affects a play or two. And the bigger the play, the more people are going to talk about it, right? And last year, whatever, Philadelphia, CD's running an over route on the naked and can't kind of find the ball. But I think you do deal with it other places, and we factor it. But again, I'll say it again, man. It really is majestic. It's freaking beautiful when it comes through there, man. You're like, wow, this is AT&T Stadium. Look at how crazy this is. This is really cool. But it does factor in other places other than Arlington.
Last one, and I think this could be my birthday present to you. Consider it my lemon. Greg Olsen on the broadcast last week, when Dak was audibling, I think he was saying true, and Olsen goes, okay, run right. Sorry to blow that up for you Cowboys. Is that something that you're aware of? I think a lot of broadcasters do it, and they're like, all right, we know it's going right. We know it's going left. It's the same 5 or 7 dummy calls or audible calls. Did you know that? And why is that not like a disadvantage if the defense knows it?
Well, first of all, you are showing your football acumen and IQ, which is incredible and incredibly high.
I got a compliment. First one in 6 weeks.
Yes, that is the first one. Yeah, don't get used to it. Yes. But the answer to the question is actually kind of funny. So the game ends, and we're just kind of really down and pissed off, and it's like, man, we had a chance, And we have a captain's thread, right? Well, CD Lamb had sent something on the captain's thread just saying, "Yo, we got to change, true," and the other words we used because Greg Olsen was talking about it. And I kind of was like, oh, okay, I'll text him back later. I was in my feelings, so I was like, I'll text him back later. But the answer to the question is yes. What Greg was saying is correct. We have multiple things that we use for right and left. Every team does. And then we have ways of dummying it. So unless Greg listens to everything or the fans or the players listen, we have the ability to say things with true that don't mean right. And we use those things all the time. But, yes, we actually have someone on our staff that they literally listen to every broadcast, and they hear – got to change this signal, got to change that call. Again, will you hear true this weekend? Probably. Will it be run to the right? Probably not.
Phenomenal explanations. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Happy birthday. Spend some time with the family, and good luck Sunday.
All right, guys. Thanks. Always enjoy it.
Wow. Brian Schottenheimer, brought to you by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys.